yet, and Charlotte Pritt is requesting to speak. So go ahead and unmute, Charlotte. What's on your mind? Charlotte? Hey. Can you hear me now? I can hear you, Charlotte. How are you?
I'm doing great. It was interesting. I came in when you were talking about the teacher strike in West Virginia, and just to give a little background, my father was the president of one of the locals, UMWA. My brother was a member of Teamsters. I was a member of WVEA, AFT, and UE. UE in West Virginia is one of the best labor unions. It has more autonomy, and I also was the gubernatorial candidate in 1996 for the Democratic Party, and my opponent was Joe Manchin in the primary, and I defeated him with a huge grassroots campaign. And I wanted to speak a little bit about what's been happening here in the labor movement, and also say that in the primary, every county in West Virginia went for Bernie Sanders. Heavily.
Wow.
And actually the workers were incensed because they have felt as if the Democratic Party, the neoliberal establishment part of the party, has consistently screwed over workers. So it wasn't so much Donald Trump, for Donald Trump, as it was FU Democratic Party, because you've abandoned the labor movement, the environmental movement, you've abandoned the people. So it was very interesting to see that when Hillary and Trump won, they knew they didn't trust establishment Democrats, and nor should they, because they have, as you can see, taken us into war since the 90s. The Clinton family with NAFTA, with TPP, it just really had a great deal of damage here in West Virginia. And I would just say, well, the problem we have is infiltration. You see infiltration, line and mine workers. My dad was a member of the Miners for Democracy, and I was inadvertently thrown into TDU, Teamsters for Democratic Union, trying to overthrow not only the CIA, but organized crime. That seems to be a real problem here. And I can say, but I also, you're absolutely right, I sued the Republican National Committee that came in and did heavily against campaigns, and put a lot of money in the state against me in the general election. And the Democrats here also worked against me because I was probably the most progressive Democrat or progressive politician that West Virginia's ever seen. And they were terrified that I had beaten Joe Manchin and that they wouldn't be able to handle me if I were in charge of the state. And as you all know, there are quite a few resources here. We have a lot of coal, fracking, timbering, and we've been in a sacrifice zone for a long time. So I just wanted to let you know that the teachers it was a grassroots. The administration did not want to, the leadership did not want to go against their friends in the legislature. And being in the House for 4 years and in the Senate for 4 years in West Virginia, what happens with our progressive community many times, they just get co-opted by the parties, whichever one is in power. And it's always been a struggle between rank and file and co-opted leaderships within the labor organizations. And we also had, you think about AFT, Randy Weingarten, here she is, going over there supporting Nazis in Ukraine, rather than understanding. They have a very skewed understanding of what's going on. And of course, with the No More movement in Africa, that, many people are trying to get the disinformation out, to counter the disinformation. But I think what's happened with the labor movement is the infiltration from not only bad actors posing as socialists or workers. Now, I'm an independent now. I was with a Democrat, then I went to the Green Party, Mountain Party in West Virginia, and I was so disgusted about the mandates on COVID that I left the Mountain Party and Green Party, and now it's just an independent. Because you don't, if you are for freedom, you don't start forcing people to do experimental drugs.
Sure.
So I'm for choice on all those issues.
Yeah. Good for you. Me too.
I just wanted to add that and to see if you had any more questions about what's going on in West Virginia.
Sure. Well, I mean, you mentioned TDU, and that the struggle to unionize, I believe it was UPS, right? That was Ron Carey when he was aligned with TDU. Were you part of that?
Yeah. Well, here's how I got part of it. When I was first running for the House in 1985, TDU was running, and my dad was helping, I guess, to some degree, helping Teamsters or Democratic Union. And they asked for my dad to come and speak because he was the president of United Mine Workers, and he was also involved with Miners for Democracy, and was one of the more true blue labor-oriented people. And he told them my daughter was going to come and speak, and I looked very Republican. I had my suit and heels on and a little briefcase when I went to speak to them. They were joking, saying, "Oh my God, that can't be Garnet Pritt's daughter. She looks like a damn Republican." And so they were all laughing about it. But I inadvertently went in and just talked to them about a grassroots campaign and how I was running mine, and that might be helpful for them. Well, they got really involved in my campaign. And then they also, when I went in to ask for the Teamsters to speak to the Union Hall, the Teamster president in West Virginia, who was in bed with the organized crime and the elements that needed to be taken out, overtaken, because the union was very corrupt under Hoffa. He wouldn't let me in the Union Hall. And said that you're not speaking here. You've been speaking to those TDU guys. And I found Rick Blaylock, who was really close to Ron Carey, was from West Virginia, and I got to know Ron Carey. And when I ran for governor in 1996, he came to West Virginia. Jerry McEntee there were several different labor leaders in the United States who helped in that campaign in 1996. My relationships with Ron Carey I always felt him, for me, I don't know what kind of relationships others have had. He was always up front. He was always there to really help anyone whom he felt really did care about working people. And I felt him to be very genuine and concerned about what was happening to the Teamsters and to the rank and file.
Right. And then for our viewers who may not be familiar, the Bill Clinton Justice Department went after him, if I believe. Is that correct? That they went after him? Yeah.
Also went after, oh gosh, shoot, I can see his face right now. He's the president now of AFL-CIO. He was with the United Mine Workers. Oh, shoot. You know who I'm talking about, Caleb?
Richard Trumka?
Yes, Rich. He went after Rich. Rich was trying to get our policies. They went after him because he was trying to get the hands, our retirement out of the hands of brokers and bankers and into a fund, that they could all put all of the retirement together and they could be managing it themselves. And powers that be didn't like that one bit, so they went after him too. They went after him for that. He kind of settled down some. I haven't been real happy with some of the things that AFL-CIO has been doing, especially when I was in El Salvador and Nicaragua and Honduras in 1987, a peace mission there, and I was talking to SEIU, hospital workers. The death squads were coming in then, and I found out then that AFL-CIO were fingering. They were actually telling the death squads which of the members of the labor unions down there were in the revolution, and they were getting killed because AFL-CIO was working hand in hand with the death squad. So when I came back, I really let Sweeney. I think Sweeney was in charge then. I really, I called and said, "Look, this is despicable," and that was really that was before Rich got over there. Rich Trumka got there, but at one point, Rich was really going to bat for the workers and the miners and trying to get us tight, get us away from the capitalists controlling our funds, pension funds. but if you don't go along, they will really make your life miserable.
Wow. Sounds like I should have you on for like a long interview sometime, you know?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk that
No, no, I'm saying, I mean, it would be great. I mean, we should just do a whole, you know, hour long conversation at some point for the YouTube channel. Would you be up for that?
Well, I have had some health issues, and I've been working with Jeremy was telling me that I need to get, you know, more active, and then I saw your thing tonight, so I thought I would just listen, but I never know when my health is going to be such that I can. Yeah, but thank you. I appreciate you giving me the offer, and offering that to me. But I thought, well, I would just speak up a little bit about what was happening here in West Virginia, and actually, I believe that our people are still very much dedicated to the working class and to the unions. It's just that we had very few people. Every time we get a chance to vote for someone whom we think will really that we can trust, we do.
Mm-hmm.
But the Democrats haven't been filling anybody, you know, on the national level for some time.
Yeah,
we like Tulsi Gabbard because of her stands on freedom, you know, speaking out for Assange and things of that nature, and so, you know, and I like her stand because she seems to be more sensible than the others about what's going on with war.
Yeah, no, I like Tulsi Gabbard a lot too. I met her one time at a reception where she spoke about, you know, how Saudi Arabia is funding terrorism and you know their role and how U.S. foreign policy is creating terrorism. And it was great to interact with her. And you know that you know when she exposed Kamala Harris on the national stage, that was kind of an epic moment. So you know, well, you are someone with lots of experience in the labor movement and lots of experience as an anti-imperialist. And it was really, really great to have you come on here and share some of your knowledge and your history. I'm really glad you hopped on. I'm really glad we, you know, we did this experiment tonight and decided to open it up. And here you are. It was really great to hear from you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everything that all of you are doing.
Thank you. And I mean, I really appreciate having you on. And I mean, it's really been great. And so thank you. And best wishes to everybody out there in West Virginia.
Thank you.
Thank you.